Okay, so what's up? It's taking me a while to get to this. I forgot about it. I got so heavy to move craft, requests, commissions, just overlooked. And look, you have my deepest and sincerest apologies for not doing this back then. So I sat down today and I went by your parameters, and I had to leave out legit stuff and street fight stuff and focus only on what's allowed in combat sports. And the question was, or suggestion was from Eddie the Crusher Colt. He's on Discord. He says he wants to know my personal top 10 favorite combat sports moves. The only rule is that it has to be a move that has been used in the combat sports environment. Boxing, pro wrestling, MMA, mat wrestling are some of the options. And the thing is, I would say pro wrestling would be redundant when it comes to combat sports, because professional wrestling is the absolute mecca of combat sports utilage, from everything Krav Maga in and out of that. If you can hurt someone with it, you can use it. That's pro wrestling. That's why there are people that are heavily vocally regulating pro wrestling tradition and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, the psychology in and out the ring, what does psychology mean, yada, yada, yada. Because in something that is absolute freestyle, which, freestyle wrestling, combat, or fight, which lucha libre is what that stands for, you need to have regulations. If you have no boundaries for water, then everything is, it's going to flood, right? Once it breaks the dam or the barrier or goes over the beach, it's on land now. Gurgle, gurgle, or get a scuba gear going or some boats. So I wrote down, not in any particular order, just what came to me. And these are things that I really like. And what I would do personally, things that just come natural to me. So let's get into this. So the first was the spinning back fist. That's good for stun, annoyance, knockout. It can be done. That's mainly in anything. It's mainly seen in MMA, but it's been kickboxing, Muay Thai, things like that. I've seen it done in professional boxing or boxeo, and yeah, you can get disqualified, points reduced, and things like that. I've only seen it done once, and it was two females boxing, and they was going at it, and this girl just broke out into a spinning back fist. Oh, that was so beautiful. And the ref was like, no, you can't. And she was like, I'm sorry. Next is the rounding high kick, spinning high kick, or your standard, stiff high kick. I have done that. I've honestly never done the spinning back fist. Never done that. I don't know if I'm coordinated enough, but the rounding high kick, yeah, a lot. And that's a good one. That's good for stun, knockout, dizzying, or to ward off. Sleeper choke. That is one of my favorites. It's not my absolute favorite. Actually, my absolute favorite is number 10. It's no order, but it was the last one that came to me. And I thought about things you could actually do in a real fight, so I was putting that down as well. So the sleeper choke, that's good. You can it can restrain. You can do that. It could be a lethal hold. Like literally on the trachea. You can use the carotid to knock out, but if freak things happen and the arteries can't reopen, it can result in death. A legit sleeper choke, the person goes out in roughly 2 or less seconds. That's the average. That's when it's applied expert with no issues. Hogan did that to a late night talk show host. I've watched it done in MMA practice. I've never done MMA practice, but just seeing stuff on YouTube. Another one that I like, that I have seen, and is rarely done, I've seen it in MMA, but briefly, it's the bear hug. The bear hug, if you work it right, is wow. It steals your oxygen. It's not going to necessarily stun, but it will induce panic. You can break ribs. You can puncture lungs with those broken ribs. You can do a lot with a bear hug. And yes, the bear hug can be used to go into quite a few suplexes if need be. But in general, this is just grabbing them, and the bear hug can be placed around the diaphragm to restrict breathing, wear someone out that way. Applied from the side, front, or behind. The bear hug can be applied higher up. Instead of working the lower floating ribs and the diaphragm and whatnot, it can go higher up and work those ribs, restricting breathing, I would say not as rapidly, but breaking those ribs that can debilitate somebody. So there's a lot with the bear hug if you got the strength and the technique. Have I done that in real life? Almost. The sleeper choke, have I done that? Never expertly, but I have landed it. The rounding high kick, have I ever landed that? No. And I'm so glad I haven't. Armbar or jujikatame, either one. This is a subdue, takedown. You can score your submission, but combat, street fight, armbar is probably, if you are an expert at martial like this, it's one of the easiest moves to get on someone. And you can do it standing, a takedown from behind, front, or side, or vertical, whether it's on the ground or standing. You can do that. The kata hajime is a choke, but it can also be transitioned into a vertical armbar. But the armbar or jujigatame is honestly shoulder separation, bicep, I think it's the humerus. You can break that. You could dislocate an elbow. If they go down wrong, trying to brace, you could break the forearm, either bone, 2 bones in the forearm. Do that, dislocate, separate, or damage a wrist or any phalange, which would be the fingers minus the thumb. No, I think the thumb is not a finger, but I think it's a phalange. Metacarpals, you could damage that, but primarily bicep area, the humerus, shoulder socket, joint, which not muscles all within that even go towards the neck. Trapezius is one of them. You can certainly do damage with that with an arm bar. You can certainly dismantle your opponent with that, depending upon how you apply it. Another one's the front headlock, or even a standing guillotine choke. It's either or, and that's literally what it is. A front choke. You can apply it to. You can dislocate a neck. You can break a neck. You can certainly choke them out and break, or which is death. I'm gonna let you know. Most likely that's death, but break or squeeze the trachea. You've got a lot. You got head control with that, and they can't really land body punches to it. Yes, I have had that on someone, and it does really hamper their ability that they get, their ability to punch and land those punches to you. But once they get out of it, there's still those moments of dizziness because of the blood rushing to the head, the loss of air. And when they come out of it, you can see their eyes are not completely there. You know, I'm not going to go anything past that on what one should and or could do. But yeah, I have gained that. The dragon screw leg whip. Yes, I've never landed it, never tried it. But if you are going to get someone that likes to kick and you are great at your martial, then you could grab the leg and you could do that move. In pro wrestling, the dragon screw leg whip is never ever done the way it should be. It looks nasty, it looks brutal, but it's never done the correct way. Because if you do this the correct way, you are going to dislocate somebody's hip or tear any of the ligaments in their knee, or dislocate their knee, possibly break a bone, whether it's the femur, the tibia, or the fibia. You and that look, you can dislocate things or tear muscles or tendons before the person leaves the ground. Well, I mean their feet. You are pretty much almost on your back in midair. And if you do this move right, which there are a couple of ways that I know that you can do it, you're going to mess them up. And you can potentially mess yourself up because you have left your feet. Just like the armbar, if you do it as a takedown version, you have to be careful because you can hurt your own elbow, your own forearm, and whatnot, depending upon the style that you do it and the angle. Another one that I like, these are basic but very effective. First one and second one is our punch. The first one, this is number 8, is a hook. You can do it from various ways in a couple of angles, yes. But it can be designed to go for the body, the shoulder, elbow, neck, anywhere on the face. But usually a hook, basic standard form, is a head hunting tool. But it's strong. It could be a stun, it could be a knockout, it could be a severe damager. Research Mike Tyson. The next punch, number 9, body hook. 2 different hooks. The hook to the head, hook to the body, 2 different. The hook to the body, you could do, I think it was called the shovel hook, which, it's like a liver punch, drop you. It's like a 1 to 2 second delay from by the time when you get hit to, I can keep going. Wait a minute. I got taking a knee. So you can look up shovel hooks or body hooks and see that. Just look up body hook KO. It's a knockout. You don't have to be unconscious for it to be a knockout. And usually if you practice it, they're kind of funny. Yes, I have done a body hook, but it was in play only, and I barely did anything, but it did a lot of damage. And I am half sorry about it. And the reason I'm half sorry is because a few months before that, when this is ages ago, I had a broken leg, and that dude gonna sit there and put me in my solar plexus and mess me up. So yeah. So body blow, you took it, deal with it. Final, number 10. This is one of my absolute favorites. Have I done it in a fight? No. I could have got it, but I was like, nope. When it comes to fighting, I'll admit I am an idiot, because the last thing I really want to do is hurt someone unless I feel betrayed. Other than that, even if they're coming at me with reckless abandon, but I know that somebody else gassed them up, I can't be mad at them but so much. I can defend myself. I can backpedal back down. And the Cobra Clutch, when I used it, it was mainly just, I got you, push him off, I had you. Acknowledge that I had you, But the other name for it is the Japanese sleeper. And that is using, when you grab their wrist, put it around them, you get your hand up through the crook of their arm, in the crook of the elbow or the elbow pit. You place your hand, ridge hand, or forearm against carotid artery. It's a knockout. It's, and I have not seen too many people use it. I've seen it in MMA a couple of times, but oftentimes it can be escaped. Judo is one of the, I think that's the judo move, strict judo, I think. But I've seen the knockout from it, and I've seen a shoot knockout in wrestling, and I've seen tutorials of some people doing it, and it was a different name. And originally I thought it was a sambo move, but I think it's just judo or jiu-jitsu. Not sure, but either way, the Cobra Clutch or Japanese sleeper is one of my favorites. And yeah, the ones that it wasn't to bring it to the United States that I know of, it was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And if you want to know, yeah, DiBiase was the original pronunciation. I don't know when it turned to DiBiase, but it was DiBiase. So that's pretty much, that should be it. Yeah. I will not delay. If anyone has any questions, like they want to know something that I like or have something, you can ask here or you can ask on Discord. I will not make another delay. I will get to it like ASAP, no matter what. I'm going to get to it. So, hey, look, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell, yada, yada. But this has been Sedrik for CR Wrestling Commentary, and I want y'all to be cool, be chill, be safe, so that I can see you next time.